हेलो यश।
Hi, how are you?
आई एम गुड। आप बताओ, हाउ इज योर हैंगओवर?
Yeah, it was a very difficult last week because that question was on top of my head. What is self-image? And probably I want you to immediately start and give me the answer on that only. What is self-image?
सेल्फ इमेज इज द वे आई बिलीव आई एम on different aspects in different dimensions. Starts with, am I handsome or beautiful? Am I strong or weak? Am I resourceful? Am I rich? Am I poor? Am I spiritual? Am I patriotic? This is distinct from my public image. Public image from early childhood itself, everybody is keenly bothered and concerned about, and we take a lot of actions. So we go to parlor and look beautiful. That's public image. But inherently, do I believe that I'm beautiful? That is the domain of
Self-image.
self-image. Uh, Another important thing to note is very few people are actually concerned about their self-image.
Mm.
Public image, everybody is. In our early years, we don't ask what is my purpose of life. We are more bothered by what do I want to become?
Yes,
What do I want
that's
to do?
that's what everyone asks you as well as a child. What do you want to
Yes,
become?
yes. It is typically during the midlife crisis that the question of purpose of life emerges, which is shaped by my self image at that stage of life. To put it in some metaphors, I'll quote a few known names. So, Kabir said, Kabir kuta Ram ka, kuta is kutta, मुतिया मेरा नाम.
Mm.
मुतिया जो वर्ड है वो इतना निरीह, इतना बेचारगी भरा, इतना हेल्पलेस है. और कुत्ते की दो चीजें हैं. एक तो वो आज्ञाकारी होता है, इट इज ओबीडियंट. सेकंड, इट इज वॉचफुल, प्रोटेक्टिव.
तीसरा उसकी पूंछ कभी सीधी नहीं होती।
हाँ. तो व्हेन कबीर डिस्क्राइब्स हिमसेल्फ एज राम का कुत्ता, तो इज प्रोटेक्टर ऑफ राम एंड प्रोटेक्टेड बाय राम एंड ओबीडियंट टू राम. महादेवी जी ने कहा, मैं नीर भरी दुख की बदली, उमड़ी कल थी, मिट आज चली. हु एम आई? एग्जिस्टेंस. साहिर ने कहा, मैं पल दो पल का शायर हूं, पल दो पल मेरी कहानी. गालिब ने कहा, परतबे खुर्स है शबनम को फना की तालीम. सूरज की रोशनी से आए तो फना हो जाना है, ऐसी ओस की बूंद ने शिक्षा ली है. मैं भी हूं एक, इनायत की नजर होने तक. सो आई एम ऑल्सो वन. एक
हम्म।
एंटिटी, एक सेल्फ. सेल्फ इमेज की एक दूसरी डायमेंशन है कि मेरा सेल्फ क्या है. उसी की तो इमेज बनेगी. अब अगर मेरा सेल्फ, इफ माई सेल्फ इज लिमिटेड टू माई ओन individual existence, that's one possible way of self. Another possible definition of the self is that I live for my village, upliftment of my village. So the village becomes my self. Another could be I'm a patriot, nation. देश की सेवा के लिए जान लुटा देंगे। और हर एंटिटी की एक, इवन कैरेक्टर्स की सेल्फ इमेज होती है।
हम्म।
तो दिनकर, दिनकर का महाकाव्य है एक उर्वशी। उर्वशी में, उर्वशी की सेल्फ इमेज में आपको, मैं नहीं सिंधु की सुता, तल तलातल अतल वितल पाताल छोड़, नीले समुद्र को फोड़, शुभ्र झलमल फेनांशुक में प्रदीप्त, नाचती ऊर्मियों के सिर पर, मैं नहीं महातल से निकली।
वाह।
मैं नहीं गगन की लता, तारकों में पुलकित पुलसी हुई, विधु की तनया चंद्रिका संग, मैं नहीं किरण के तारों पर झूलती हुई ऊपर उतरी। मैं नाम गोत्र से रहित पुष्प, अंबर में उड़ती हुई मुक्त आनंद शिखा, इतिवृत्तहीन सौंदर्य चेतना की तरंग, सुर नर किन्नर गंधर्व नहीं, प्रिय मैं केवल अप्सरा, विश्व नर के अतृप्त इच्छा सागर से समुद्भूत। द कैरेक्टर हैज डिस्क्राइब्ड हर सेल्फ इमेज। इसका जिस्ट है सौंदर्य चेतना की तरंग। दैट इज हु आई एम। या आगे बढ़े।
या। सो very interesting, very interesting concept. Like most of the life, I am probably the person is confused with their personal image or the public image as a self image. They confuse their public image as their self image. But as you mentioned, uh, probably during the midlife crisis, that's the time when they actually understand what's the self image. But I believe the formation of that self image has started uh, too early in their life. So can we just bounce back on where actually I start forming that self image?
अगेन, एक्सपोजर एंड एक्सपीरियंसेस, they form on one hand my perception of life, and on other hand my self image.
Hmm.
So if I had bitter experiences, if I'm regularly beaten up in my school by boys, I'll have a self image element will be I'm weak.
Hmm.
If I've gone through poverty
Hmm.
in childhood, then my conversation will be, internal conversation will be that I don't have resources.
Hmm. So linked with my conditioning and my environment.
My environment and the experiences that I.
Hmm. And I think you have already answered the other another question which was coming to my mind was, and it is linked to our last conversation as well. How my self-image plays the role in creating my purpose of life. Uh,
First of
so
all,
that is another thing probably you have already highlighted some aspect of it, but I believe a better answer or a strong answer just relevant to this question.
wonderful. Self image shapes my purpose of life.
Hmm.
My purpose of life will, or rather, I must say, how I define my purpose of life. Mind it consciously or unconsciously. Whether my purpose of life is consciously declared or it is subconsciously working, making me work, self image plays a role in both. Because जितनी मेरी सेल्फ इमेज की लिमिटेशंस हैं, उसके बियॉन्ड तो मेरा पर्पज हो ही नहीं सकता।
Hmm.
I
Yes.
cannot define a purpose of life which, according to me, is beyond me.
True. Very true.
Chal. perception of life and self image of life, along with my definition of self or identification with who all do I identify with, are shaped by my exposure and experiences, and in turn influence very deeply, limit, or expand my purpose of life. So, if I talk about myself, my self image has also undergone several revisions, mostly consciously worked upon. And finally, the current self image is that I am a link between the past civilization and the future civilization. It is because of this self image that I could think of creating a boundaryless world and starting a boundaryless initiative.
Hmm.
And there are reasons for that we will talk about some other day. Over to you.
Very, very interesting aspect. And if I ponder on my life, I have also gone through a very similar journey. And a question which uh, arise from the sequence of thoughts is that suppose if I reached at once self image, I believe that this is the self image, and that will also define the purpose of life. But how do I make sure that that self image or that purpose of life is not becoming a barrier in my growth?
By examining the purpose of life that you have declared repeatedly, periodically, regularly, questioning it, is this what my life is about? Someday you might get an answer no. When your self image has gone to the next level, you will have an answer no. And
Hmm.
the cycle will repeat.
So you're saying that people, if they get onto a one self image, they are stuck with that self image because they have stopped questioning themselves.
Yes. Yes. Now this has become a truth for them.
Yeah.
It is no longer just an image.
Hmm. Yeah.
They now start believing that this is who I am.
Hmm.
And then further journey impossible. Further evolution, further growth impossible.
So if I ask you, like you mentioned that your self image right now is of a link, and what are the questions you are regularly asking yourself, uh, or how you reach to this point of a self image where you think it's a link?
Interesting. It's been a very, very interesting journey. Partly I've been lucky and that I've had tremendous exposure of all kinds. I'll not go into the details. I came to realize that I belong to a very special generation. To take an example, when I was a child, I saw food being cooked on wood चूल्हे पे या उपले गोबर के जला करके. आफ्टर सम टाइम अंगीठी केम, जिसमें कच्चे कोयले की, पक्के कोयले की और बुरादे की कई तरह की अंगीठे. उसके बाद स्टोव आया, एक बत्ती वाला, फिर एक गैस वाला. ईच वन रेवोल्यूशन. हीटर आया, गैस आई, हॉट प्लेट आया, माइक्रोवेव आया, एयर फ्रायर आया. कुकिंग कैसे होनी है, मैं इतना चेंज, इतना ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन एक किस जनरेशन ने पहले किया. वो जो मैंने जहां से शुरू किया, उपले और लकड़ी से, वो सदियों से चल रहा था. तो ये जो बीइंग अ स्पेशल जनरेशन, belonging to a special generation, expanded my thought in the past, towards the future, and expanding in space. That is how this self image could form.
Hmm. And what could be the framework for everyone to get to that level? Or suppose if I want to start a same journey, how I can, rather reinventing the wheel, I can learn from your journey and kickstart my journey of creating that self image or finding the purpose of my life. One tool you mentioned in the last, which I'm following, that write down all the ideas which are coming to your mind and then keep on at least uh, reducing one by one. So that's something I'm working on. But how I can move to the next step of defining my self image?
Yes, wonderful. In writing, question your beliefs. First of all, you just write down one paragraph, one page or two pages. This is who I am. I'm a Hindu, I'm a Punjabi, I'm a master of this and this. After that, each question, each sentence you examine. Am I really this? Answer yes or no. Find alternatives. One of them will strike out. This exercise, पहली बार when you write, first time when you write at least two pages. Who I am or I am, that is your self image. And then you'll find gaps in it. You'll find things which are not consistent, which are not useful, which don't serve any purpose, which are in the nature of only a burden to be carried forward. All that will keep getting removed and the pure essence will start emerging. I did this exercise for several years.
Beautiful.
And that is how, after doing this exercise, some point of time, I could reach a point of inflection before which the life was about myself, me. And after that, my life is about others, something other than me. Before the point of inflection, the life was in the zone context of accomplishments. After the point of inflection, it is about contribution.
Yeah. Yeah. I think uh, it's a good juncture at where we can stop this
Okay,
discussion today. And uh, probably next time I would like or love to listen more about that point of inflection.
certainly.
What does that actually mean?
In
And
the context of life.
yeah, and I would also like to share my experience on that. Yeah, let's park it for the next discussion.
Spark. Okay.
Thanks.